Hi there, my name is Sam, one of the founders of Instant, and in this course I'll show you how to build a Shopify product detail page without code using Instant. We will build this exact page right here from scratch. And in this course we're taking a deep dive into product pages and learn about product variants, image galleries, Shopify metafields, reviews, complementary product sections, optimizing the experience for mobile, and so much more. So let's get started. Here we are with an Instant, and let's head over to Layouts to create a new product page template. Whenever we click on the plus icon, we have two different options: template library or build from scratch. If we click on template library, we can choose from a variety of different templates, which we can then customize from that point onwards. In this course, we're going to build a product page template from scratch. So let's select empty or build from scratch. The first thing I'm going to do is drag in a row. Then within this row, I'm going to drag in two different columns. The column on the left will hold the image gallery and the column on the right will hold all the different product information. Then I want to create a little bit of space. As you can see right now, the columns snap all the way to the edges of the canvas, but I don't want this to happen. So I'm going to select the base row and then within inside spacing at 80 pixels worth of inside spacing to the top and bottom and 80 pixels to the left and right. Now that we've selected the base row already, let's also give this a background color. So under style and fill, we can select this brand color right here. And talking about brand colors, let's quickly go over to brand styles. So I've prepped the builder a little bit. I've added a few color styles, as you can see right here, and also two different text styles: the headline with a custom font and the body also with a custom font. Then let's drag in the image gallery in this left column right here. So under product, you can find two gallery elements, a horizontal one and a vertical one. In this case, I want the vertical one. So let's drag and drop it. It's previewing this product right now. We can change which product we're previewing by clicking on the product and then selecting the right one, which in this case is the body protection. Now let's delete the fill color of this column, going down to style and fill, and let's delete it. There we have it. Then let's also delete all these navigation icons. It's useful, but in this case I don't want them. I'm going for a different aesthetic. Then I'm going to set the height of this slide to 600 pixels. It's currently at 500, so let's change it to 600. And then I'm also gonna add a nice border right here, a black border of a width of 1 pixels. Then for the thumbnails, let's select the thumb layer. I'm gonna set the height to 400 pixels. There we have it. And then also I'm gonna change the gap, so the gap that exists between these different thumbnails, from 16 to 8. This looks way better. Then there's also quite some space between the thumbnails and then the slide. So let's also reduce that from, in this case, 24 to 8. There we have it. Let's quickly preview, and this is what the image gallery looks like right now, and it's beautiful. Next up, let's quickly switch these two columns around so it's easier to drag and drop elements from the left right onto the canvas. And the first thing I'm going to drop in is under product and then the product title right here. Then I'm going to change the size of this title to 28. There we have it. And of course, select the right style, which is the headline. And there we go. Now let's delete the fill color of this row as well. Delete the color. And then underneath, I'm going to drag in another text element. There we go. And then this should say ready to use, easy, apply. Of course, we're gonna set up the correct style, which is the body, and then size 14. Underneath, we're dragging in a review section, or to be specific, a star rating. This is the star rating element, and let's drag and drop it underneath this text element. By default, as you can see right here, it's connected to the Judge Me Review app. We also have different apps that you can connect by default, such as Yotpo, Okendo, Lux, and Stamped. There's quite some space between these elements right here. So for the main row that holds all this content, I'm going to change the gap from 32 to 12. And then the space between this element and the review looks good to me, but I want to create more space between the title and then the text underneath. So to do that, I select the product title, and then I'm going to add some around spacing, open up all the individual sides, and add 24 pixels of around spacing to the title, to be specific, to the bottom of the title. And now this looks way better. Then let's duplicate this text element right here, drag this underneath. Then I'm going to do the same thing to the review element. I'm going to add some around spacing to the bottom, 24 pixels, to create more space between this text element and the review text element. This should say size, and underneath this we're dragging in another element, which in this case is a variant element, and then the basic variant element. It is now showcasing the different options, in this case the different options in volume that I've set up within Shopify. So whenever we select the variant select element, we can see the option menu. There's only one option for this product, but let's say you have different colors or any other options that you can imagine, you can select them from the drop down right here. Now let's customize these variant select elements. First of all, I'm going to delete the radius of the individual options. So the options are selected, and then I'm going to change the radius from 99 to 0. I'm going to change the fill color to white, add a black border of 1 pixel, change the font to the correct font, which is of course the body style, size 14. And then I'm going to make these options a little bit bigger. I'm going to add 12 pixels to the top and bottom, so from 6 to 12. And for the left and right, do the double amount, 24 pixels. Whenever we select the options, we can see that there's an active interaction indicated by this blue dot. What this means is that whatever option or product variant is active, it will have a different fill color. But I don't want this. I want the fill color to be black. The text of the color is already set to white, so this will work perfectly. Now let's preview, and as you can see, whichever option we activate or select will become black and the text will become white. Now I'm going to duplicate this text element again, drag it underneath the variant select element, select the variant select element actually, and then add around spacing to the bottom of 24 pixels. So again, there is some space. Then this should say, what is it? There we have it. And then underneath, I'm gonna drag in a new element, which is the product description. And as you can see, it will automatically fetch the product description of this product that I've set up in Shopify and put it into Instant. Then, of course, we select the right style, which is the body style, and then size 14. I'm already going to add some around spacing. In this case, again, 24 pixels to the bottom. Then underneath the product description, I'm going to drag in a row. And the reason for that is that within this row, I want two different elements placed next to each other. The base row that holds all these elements, the direction is set to vertical. So whatever we drag into the canvas will be placed underneath each other, as you've seen until now. But I also want to have two different elements next to each other. So for that reason, I drag in another row, and then within this row, I can change some of the properties, for example, the direction. So within this row, I'm going to drag in a quantity select element, and I'm going to drag in a button. By default, it is set to vertical, so the elements are placed underneath each other. In this case, as mentioned before, I want them to be placed next to each other, so I'm going to change it to horizontal. Then we also delete the minimum height set to this row, and there we have it. I also want to change the alignment to the center. This looks better. And then for this add to cart button, I want it to fill up all the space that is available. So I'm going to set the width to fill. There we go. Now let's focus a little bit more on the quantity select element. So the first thing I'm going to do is delete the fill color of this element. There we have it. So we can see the nice background color. Do the same thing for this element right here. We should delete this and also delete the border, and then zoom in a little bit more, select the quantity select element, and then for this entire element I'm gonna add a border, then change the radius to 99 so we get these nice round corners. I'm gonna reduce the gap to 0. This looks way better. And then I'm going to add some inside spacing to make this button, or the quantity select, I should say, a little bit bigger. So I'm going to add 12 pixels worth of inside spacing to the left and right. Then for the height of this quantity select element, I'm just going to set it to fill, so it will fill up all the space that is available. Then the add to cart button, I'm going to change the radius to 99 as well, so it's nice and round. I'm going to change the fill color to this branded green color. Then I'm going to make sure the text is in the center by changing the distribute from the left to the center. Then this should say something else, add to back. And then of course we need to select the right style, which is the body style. The default of the body text style is black. So let's change the color to white and size 14. Let's do the same thing for the quantity select and then the number, since this is also a text element, change it to body and size 14. Then we have the add to back, but I also want to include the price right here. So under product, we can find the product price, and then we drag this into this button. There we have it. We delete the comparison price. I did not set up a comparison price for this product within Shopify, so it's useless. Let's drag these elements around and then set the width of the price to fit. Select the price, make sure it has the right style, which is the body style, and then way smaller, size 14, and a white color. They're now placed next to each other. I don't want that, so I'm going to change the distribute setting to equal space between, so they both snap to the outer edges of the button. I also want to create a bit more space within this button, so I'm going to change the inside spacing from the left and right from 16 to 24. This looks way better. Then there's quite some space between the quantity select element and the add to cart button. So let's select the main row, and then we change the gap from 32 to 12. This already looks better. Let's quickly preview to see what we have done. As you can see, the quantity select element works and the add to back or add to cart button also works. I want to change one more thing, and that is to add an interaction to this button. So whenever we hover over this button, I want the color to be black. So we select the button, we go to interactions, then we set a trigger, in this case a mouse hover trigger, because I want to enable it or trigger it whenever we hover over it with our mouse. And then I'm going to change the fill color to black for a nice subtle effect. The text color can stay the same because it's also visible whether it's green or black. So let's preview again. And then whenever we hover over this button, it becomes black. Now that this row is complete, let's duplicate this product title. Then we drag it underneath. Then, as you can see, we need to add some inside spacing, or spacing around, I should say, to this column right here. Open the individual sides and add 24 pixels worth of around spacing to the bottom. Then change this text and make sure it's not connected to Shopify content or dynamic content. So we click on the X icon and then we can fill in our own text. This should say how to use. And then underneath, we're going to drag in another row. There we have it. Then we're going to set the fill color of this row to white. Add a border, a black border of 1. Then we're going to add some inside spacing to create some space between the outer edges of this row and where the content within starts. So inside spacing 10 top and bottom, 10 left and right. And then we drag in a video element right in here. Underneath, we need a text element, so let's quickly duplicate this text element and then we drag it underneath the video. This is not underneath the video, so let's do it from the layer panel. There we go. There's quite some space right here. That's because the gap is set to 32. Let's change this to 12. This already looks better. And then this should say p-sized, apply gently. And the font, of course, is the correct style, and then size 14. Then for this video, we need a link. We can get this link from our Shopify store. So if you upload an image within your Shopify store, you can go to content, then find the file, copy the link, and then you can simply paste it within Instant. Then we can set some settings. I want this to loop, of course. And then that's actually already it. So now let's preview to see what this looks like. And as you can see, the video plays. If we wait a little bit longer, you can also see that it loops. There's quite some space between this video and this text element. That's because I've duplicated it from the product title, which has the around spacing of 24 pixels. We don't need this here, so let's delete it. There we have it. This video row is complete, and I'm gonna add another row underneath. So let's duplicate this row. Make sure that we add 24 pixels worth of around spacing to the bottom of this top row that holds the video. Open the individual sides, add 24 pixels to the bottom. Then we're gonna duplicate this text element as well. Drag it underneath the top video. We delete this video because we don't need the video in this one. We also delete the text element. What I want to have within this row is actually a accordion. And in this accordion, we're going to be able to add more information about the product, for example, the benefits and the key ingredients. So let's drag it in, and then we have some customization to do, as you can see. So first of all, let's delete this second item, or this section 2. So we first make sure we have the right styles connected to this first item, and only then we duplicate and change the content. So this text element should of course be the correct style, which is the body style, then size 14, and then it should say benefits. Then for this one on the right, the icon, the width is set to 32 by 32. I want it to be a little bit smaller, so let's change it to 24 by 24. This already looks better. Then there is a border around this accordion, which I don't like. So let's select the accordion layer, and then we can delete the border. This already looks better. Then we can see that there's another border active. So if we select the item, we scroll down and we can see that there's another border. So let's also delete that one, and now it's all clean. Then let's change the icon. So I want there to be a minus icon when it's open and a plus icon when it's closed. So when it's closed, the plus icon indicates that you can open it, and vice versa. So let's select the icon. We go to the icon menu right here. We type in plus, and then this one looks about right. we can set a different type. In this case, I want a thin type. This looks perfect. Then whenever this is active, I want a different icon. So to do that, we go to interactions. The icon layer is still selected. Under interactions, we can change the icon, as you can see right here. Let's type in minus, and then we select this one. Quickly preview to see what this looks like. And as you can see, when it's closed, it has the plus icon. When it's opened, it has the minus icon. Now let's also make sure that we have the correct style for this text element. Style body size 14. And now we can duplicate this item to create a second item. Then we change this into key ingredients. And then right here, we're not going to work with static content, so typing in our own text with an instant, but actually what I want to do when the text layer is selected, I want to work with Shopify metafields. So I click on the metafield icon right here, and then I'm going to look for the Shopify metafield, which in this case is ingredients, which will hold all the ingredients for this specific product. And there we have it. So the last thing we need to do is actually change these rows around. This should be on the left, and there we have it. Let's quickly preview to see what this looks like. The image gallery works, of course, the variants work, the quantity select works, the video is playing, and then the accordion is also working. Next up, I want to do one more thing, and that is to make sure that whenever we scroll, that this image gallery stays within the view. So to do that, we need to change the position of this row, the product gallery, from relative to sticky. Then for this entire base row, we have 80 pixels worth of inside spacing. So there's 80 pixels to the top and bottom and 80 pixels to the left and right. To make sure it scrolls down smoothly, we select the product gallery, and then we change the top value to 80 pixels as well to match the inside spacing of this entire section. So now when we preview, as you can see, it scrolls down very, very nicely. And that's it for this buy box. Later on in this course, we're going to make this responsive, but now let's create the next section. On this PDP, I also want to add product benefits and a social proof section to inform people better and earn more trust. I can build this from scratch like we did with this section, but I can also add a section from the template library, then customize it. So let's do that. Under section, we can open the template library right here. Then we go to the category of features. It's already opened in this case. Then we scroll down and we add this section to our page. And here it is. Now, to make sure we do this in the most efficient way, I'm going to customize this card on the left, make sure the right styles are applied and the right content, and then I'm going to duplicate it because this, as I said, will save a lot of time. So the card is selected, as you can see in the layer panel. We scroll down to style, and then I'm going to change the background color to this branded color right here. Then I want to add a border, so enable border. There's a width of 1, which is good. We're going to make it black. And then there is a radius active of 12, resulting in these nice and round corners. But that's not the style I'm going for, so let's delete the radius, 0, and there we have it. Then we select the right stylings. So we have the body text style and again, the body text style. Then here is a row that contains a text and an icon element. This is essentially like a button, also as you can see right here from the layer panel. And it says learn more. So with this, we can direct people, for example, to a different page. To do that, we select the quote unquote button right here. We go to interactions and then we can add a action, which is a click action. Then we can either direct people to a URL, to a different section on this page, to an email, or do something with an add to cart action. In this case, I just want to showcase how it's done. I'm not going to add an actual interaction. So let's continue. This should say easy to apply, and then we have another image. So under style, we can change the image. I've uploaded a bunch of images to the asset library. One of them is easy to apply. You can find them right here, and you can also find them right here in the asset panel. Now, this first card is looking good. Now let's duplicate it, delete the other one, duplicate it again, and delete the other one. Then this should say waterproof. Then we have another image, the waterproof image. And then this should say 100% natural. And then we have another image, the 100% natural image. And there we have it. The product benefits section is done. Next up, I want to add some social proof in the form of reviews. So let's again head to the insert panel under section and open the template library. Then we go to social proof, and then we start scrolling until we find the right section, which in this case is this one right here. And there we have it. Now let's customize this. First of all, I'm going to delete the fill color that's active on the background because I want it to be white. Then let's work with a few of the style options. So right here we have a header. Let's change that into the header text style. Then it's quite big. All the other headers are size 28. So let's also change this to 28 pixels. Then testimonials, let's delete that. We have way more reviews than 48. So let's change this number in 500 plus. Also make sure the correct font, or the correct style I should say, is connected. There we have it. Also make sure this is a bit smaller, 28. Then total reviews, select the correct style. Then for this button right here, let's also select the correct style. For this text element, style body, the default color is black, so let's change that to white. Then also let's make sure the button is not black, but this branded green color right here. And this is already looking good. Next up, I want to customize these cards. So let's zoom in a little bit. And what we're going to do is delete the radius of 8, resulting in the round corners. Change it to 0. Then the fill color is going to be this branded color right here. Then, of course, we need to change the text styles. So we can change it right here. We do this again. And let's make sure this is actually bold. Then for these icons, the icon is right, but the color is not right. So let's delete a few of these icons until we have 1 star left. Then make sure there is the correct color applied. And then we duplicate it. We have 3, 4, 5. There we have it. And now we're going to do the same thing to the other cards. And to make it a bit more fast, I'm going to select the entire layer that holds all the stars or the icons, as you can see right here. I'm going to copy it, then select a different card and paste it in. Then drag it in the right position. And now we simply add the correct styles and repeat this for all the different cards. And there we have it. The social proof section is now also complete. Let's quickly preview. There we go. Here we have the product benefits section, and here we have the review section, looking very, very nice. The last section I want to cover for this course is a crucial section that any product detail page needs to have. And that is a list of complementary products, because this is a great way to increase average order value. So again, let's head to the template library. Then we select the product category. We scroll all the way down, and then we add this section right here, the product slider, to our product detail page. Here it is. And now let's start customizing. So first of all, I'm going to add a background color to this entire section right here. Under style and fill, I'm going to add our brand color. Then let me delete this description right here and make sure that we have the correct style, which is of course the headline style, size 28, so 28 pixels for this button as well. Let's make sure there is a nice round button, so we add radius 99. Then we need to make sure the fill color is this branded green color. Then for the text within, let's select the right style, the body text style, change the color of the text to white and set it to size 14. Next up, I want to delete the navigation underneath, so it's deleted. And then we're gonna customize this slider. So I'm gonna delete all the slides except for one. There we go. This specific slide is connected to a Shopify product. In this case, it's a placeholder product, the picture in frame, but I'm going to delete this Shopify connection and I will explain later on why I did this. So it's gone. Now it's just previewing the product, the body protection product, which is active on this entire page. But now I'm going to select this container. And then for this container, I'm going to work with Shopify content. And to be specific, not a product, but a collection. And then I have the Tsuki collection right here. And what I can do right now, since it's in the context of a collection, I can go to the slide and then I'm able to repeat this slide. And I can repeat this slide on the entire Tsuki collection, which we have just connected to this section. So here we have all the different products from this collection in the different slides with one click. Then I'm going to select the image within this slide. And as you can see, when we select one image, it will select all the images because this slide is repeated. So whatever we change in one slide will also be changed on all the other slides, resulting in a workflow that's way faster. So the image is selected, then we go down and then we set the sizing to fit. And this looks way better. Now let's make sure we have the correct styles. So we have the product name right here. Let's make sure it's set to the right style, the body style, set the size to 14. Then do the same for the price, style, body, size 14. We can delete this variant option right here. Then for the button, let's make the button round. So we add a radius of 99. Then delete the border and set a fill color, which is this green branded color. Then for the text in the button, let's make sure it's connected to the right style, the body style, make the color of the text white and then set it to size 14. And as you can see, it changes it to all the different products or slides in this slider. Then the last thing I want to add to this slider is an interaction to the button. So whenever someone hovers over the button, I want it to become black, just as we did on the main buy box section on the top of this product detail page. So the button is selected, we go to interaction, then as we can see there's already an action active, a add to cart action, but I also want to add a trigger, which in this case is a mouse hover trigger. Whenever someone hovers over the button, I want the fill color to become black. Now let's quickly preview to see if we've actually done this the correct way. And there we have it. Whenever we hover over any of these buttons in this slider, it's changing the color, and that's what we want. So we have built the entire page, and now it's time to make it responsive. On the desktop viewport, it's looking good because this is where we've built it. Now let's go to the laptop viewport, and here it also still looks good. Important to note is that this top section we've built from scratch. So most likely, most of the changes that we have to make it responsive are going to be in this section. The other sections are selected from the template library, and these are responsive by default. So most likely we don't have to do anything on these sections, and we can just focus on the top section. So the first thing I want to do is actually create a bit less inside spacing. It's set to 80 to the top and bottom and to the left and right. But on the laptop viewport, I think we can change this to 64 to the top and 64 to the left and right. This also includes that we need to change the sticky amount or position sticky, the top value also to 64, so it scrolls down smoothly, or it stays in the same position smoothly and the other section scrolls down smoothly. As you can see, this is happening. Then for the rest, this all looks very, very good. So right now, let's go to the other viewport, the tablet viewport. And this is where it starts to look a little bit weird. All the other sections still look good, but it's mainly this top section. So what I want to do right now, this image gallery and all the product information is next to each other. I want them to be underneath each other. So the column that holds both of these elements, I'm going to change the direction to vertical. And now they're placed on top of each other. Now we have to make a few changes because this also looks weird in my opinion. I think it's better that on this viewport, the thumbnails are just underneath right here and not next to it. So to do that, we select the product gallery layer and then we change the direction to vertical. And what will happen is that the thumbnails and the product gallery will be on top of each other instead of next to each other. So let's do that. And as you can see, this looks pretty weird. So I want these thumbnails to be on the bottom. To do that, I'm going to change the direction. There we go. And then for the thumbnails, they are placed on top of each other. So I'm going to select the thumbs layer and then change the direction again to horizontal. So they're next to each other. Then they're quite large. The reason for this is that the height is set to 400 pixels. Let's change that to 150. And this already looks way, way better. And then for this entire row, I want to make the inside spacing a bit less. So if we go to the section underneath, we can see the inside spacing is set to 32. So to match that, we select the top section and also change the inside spacing to 32 right here. There we have it. This already looks way, way better. Now we need to make a few other changes, which is this video. It's set to a width of 500 pixels. Let's change that to fill, so it will fill up all the space available. And then for this accordion section, there's a max width of 600 pixels. Let's change that to a max width of 100%. So it will occupy 100% of the space available. And then for the rest, this all looks very, very good. Now let's go to mobile. And here we can also make some changes. So this first slide is actually quite large. The reason for that is that it's set to, let's select it, 600 pixels of height, a fixed height. Let's change that to 400. This already looks better. Also the thumbnails are quite large on this device. So let's change it to 100. And then the rest actually all looks really, really nice. So now let's preview on the mobile device. This is all, of course, still functional and it's looking really, really nice. Scroll down more. This is all functional. We scroll down and this is all looking really, really nice. Laptop viewport also looking really, really good. And then we have the laptop viewport and the desktop viewport. And that's it for making it responsive. To publish this product page template to our Shopify store, we head over to layouts and then we open the template settings. Then we give this a name. I'm going to call it Tsuki because I want to use this template on all the products that fall within the Tsuki collection. And then we first have to publish this template before we can assign products right here from within Instant. So let's first click on Publish. It's published and now we can assign products. So the template settings are open again and now we can select the body protection product, but we can also select any other product we want because we've built a product page template, meaning we can assign this template to as many products as we want right from within Instant. For this course and this example, I'm only going to connect the body protection product, then click on assign product, then it will load and then it's complete and we can take a look at what it looks like within Shopify. There are a variety of different ways to do this. One of them is going to Shopify, selecting the product and then viewing the actual product page. And as you can see, here we have the product page we've built in Instant and it's looking really, really good. Then there's another way to check out this page. Let's close this tab and then we can go to our online store. We can edit the theme and then we're now on the home page. And then if we open up products, we can find the new template right here, which is assigned to one product. And now we can also see it from within the Shopify theme editor. And that's it for this course. So I hope you have a good understanding on how to build stunning and converting product page templates within Instant and all without code. So thanks for watching and good luck.